And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, at the Blizzard Arena, ready for some more Overwatch League action. If you just joined us, well, you found the exact right time for it. Two of the most vociferous fan bases in the Overwatch League, that is a word, are going head-to-head right behind us in just a few moments. The Houston Outlaws going up against the Atlanta Reign. I'd keep it a one syllable for you if I can, but it actually that limits the words in general.
The fans don't even know what that means.
I'm not, yeah, they do. Yeah. Do you think you're smarter than the average fan? Nah. You seen Reddit? No way.
I don't know. I don't believe them. But I know. When you take a look at the standings, there's a lot of playoff implications with this match for not just the teams in this match, but a lot of the teams that are still remaining. You see Houston sitting at 3-3. They need a win here. Some maps going in their favor would send that map differential into the positives, which would then, when we have the charge go up at Vancouver, our last match of the night, that would kind of determine on some of the other teams that could get in. Atlanta, if they win, they're in a very good spot to make it through. You see, they would jump up to 4-3. The map differential would go higher, and they would pass a team like the Fuel.
That's right. The charge is going to be an interesting match to them, and obviously the Titans happening later on. That will decide some of how the rest of that sorts out here. But yes, the Outlaws do have a chance. It is, it's not necessarily a huge chance, but winning this one is the first step.
I would say I don't think a lot of Outlaws fans or a lot of the people making the predictions even thought they would have a chance to make the playoffs in stage 1. So to have an opportunity on the final day to win and then potentially have some things go in your favor and get in, it's pretty good for Houston.
That's it. The Lone Star Rangers are going to have to ride some of that momentum into the playoffs. Welcome to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, the Houston Outlaws. Had to let me do it just once, everybody. Just once.
Yeah.
And this team, we've seen this team shuffle it up a little bit, Matt, in a flex support role, in terms of, what's Jake been doing. He's been sort of bringing that brick for the most part here. They really want to have him in the lineup. You see he's really important, I guess, a balancing factor on the team, the communication being so important.
Seems like the only things that we see constantly game in and game out is, Boink in the Lucio role, and then Muma playing main tank. Everything else is kind of like an interchangeable part, whether you have Spree or Cool Matt in the game and the off tank role. Dante, Jake, and Linkster kind of rotate around in terms of the damage dealers. We've been seeing Jake a little bit more, I think for shot calling, the Brigitte play, a little bit more of a staple in the lineup as the stage has gone on.
What an important match this one is going to be, not only for the Outlaws, but also for their opponents, the Atlanta Reign. Somehow, the Atlanta Reign have managed to turn this one around.
Graviton Surge comes in, Soundbear for Atlanta. Oh, and soon gets his crown eaten by Daco as well.
Each man hit a 5 barrier. Now we're into the big ultimate there.
Costello gets taken down. That's just going to have to be the next reset. Just to find the kill. The return coming through, drops it in. Double over to him.
It's the Atlanta Reign, the Houston Outlaws.
And of course, the Atlanta Reign now will take to the stage. Quite an ambitious project, Matt, this team, and we first saw them on paper wondering, where is these guys coming from? They got a lot of European talent, players from the Korean region, as well as some North Americans in that mix.
Yeah, another very strong expansion team that we have. Coming to the late, you see DeFran bringing up the rear. Like the star player, #1, jersey sales I saw the other day. You're going to need to have him have a massive game here to get a big win for Atlanta, push him into the playoff.
Absolutely. Fortunately for Atlanta, he's actually been a huge part of a lot of their wins prior anyway. Then he doesn't be firing. If he goes off the boil, then the concern is what kind of sort of gap that he's going to be leaving there. Representative from Germany as well, Kodak, going to be in to start on that flex support role over Dogman. At least to begin with, we've seen the Reign make some changes there. But again, back to the friend. We talked about him a lot, but he is this kind of figure, a little bit mercurial across some of the games, a little bit changing in terms of his impact, but they need him to continue to dominate.
And look, when he's hot, he's one of the best players in the, you think in the world, right? With how good he is on the different hit scan heroes. You see, he's played some Torb, some Bastion. I think, as the year goes on, I think when you start to see his hero pool open up, we start to see more of like the Tracer and the other type of heroes he'll play. I think you'll see even stronger performances. If you get a good Zarya game, though, from him, it can really turn the tide in this series.
Well, if you think about his pickup as an investment, if they were just wanting to leverage him to play damage dealers in other metas, then this already paid off with what he's added to this team already on that Zarya pick. Final blows per 10 minutes. He is, Monty mentioned it earlier on the desk, he's definitely a janitor in a lot of these fights. He cleans up a lot of those kills.
The numbers, when you look at it, they're not like horrible, right? You see, first in the final blows, you have, the elims per grab 5th, 4th, it's just the average energy and then the deaths. I think those things kind of go like hand in hand though. If you're dying, your energy is not going to be high like on a long-term average. So I think that kind of makes sense, and those two stats go hand in hand. Very talented player.
Well, here's your map set, brought to you by Toyota. It starts on the map of Ilios. As we go through the series again, this is a series that will feature Horizon and Rialto again. Yeah, there is opportunities to play the Torbjorn, and we know that the Reign have not shied away from it. They've been more happy to go for that sort of setup.
Game 5 doesn't matter.
We got this.
One thing with how important this game is and with how much on the line, let's see if the Outlaws, you know, they have some of this experience coming back from, you know, the players playing in Season 1, some really like high intensity games with playoff implications. See if they can, you know, use that experience to their advantage.
I want to see more of Muma here. As he's a player we didn't really get a chance to talk about, but that matchup against Pogbo is going to be interesting. Dante on the Sombra, I mean, I would say he was one of the most dominant Sombra players in a few of those matches for the Shock last year. Remember, that was a year where the Shock struggled last season. Yeah. Looking much better now. Muma again. Ooh, very clever. He doesn't push forward there. He takes a big old step back, and Pogbo walks straight into that one. You see this man trying to create space, or at least sort of preserve some space while Dante's doing work around the outside. The Reign get the point here, but they're going to have to leave it pretty much straight away.
Yeah, it's going to be the Houston Outlaws that are going to be able to go in and take this point back as Dako trying to get back on to contest. He just flies in, ends up getting hacked there. So, you know, the Sombra makes a difference at the beginning. That's how do you play around this? So look, now what's difficult when you play into the Sombra if you're Atlanta is Houston can start just cycling some of these ultimates in like a never-ending loop. It's like EMP comes out, you build up Shatter and Grab off the EMP, you build up a Trance. The next one, the Shatter comes out, the Grab comes out, you build up EMP after that. And Houston doesn't have to use any support ultimates to win these fights. You just have them for such a long time. So let's see how Atlanta decides to play around all this.
Jake with Rally. The Brig matchup's interesting here as well. Ersta's one of the best performing Brigs in the league by statistics, and that EMP is going to make it hard for him to really do work, though.
Can't do anything there.
But on the other side of Jake, Houston struggle when Jake dies, especially on Brigitte. Houston have played, well, more than 32 team fights. It was 32 before this match. 32 team fights with Jake on Brigitte, and no, 32 times they've lost him and they've won 0. So they do not win team fights when Jake dies first. But they haven't done it yet.
But I think you see when you lose your Brigitte across the league that your win rate in team fights goes, you know, down the drain. As Dante gets stunned there, he actually is, oh, I thought for a second he was going to be able to get out, but not able to make it out with his life as Masa picks him up.
All right, the Graviton here to slow the Reign down, perhaps try and find the Outlaws a bit of a pick here. Notice that Muma didn't charge into that one. He's down to 5 plays. He doesn't want to go too aggressive, but now without Jake, I'd say the Outlaws want to get out. Spree definitely wants to try and escape with some of this at least. Yeah, he needs to leave his team. He has to be selfish on Zaya.
Yeah.
But look, 74 to 14. The Outlaws accrued a heck of a lot of catch-up percentage in that last couple of fights.
As the Outlaws did end up using their Graph, but no follow-up. Pokepo actually used Earth Shatter to try and prevent anybody from coming in, getting that follow-up. That's the one thing that the Outlaws kind of suffer with this composition. You don't have like the big self-destruct combo.
Do they not know that Dako's there?
I don't think they really
Okay, they do now.
Now they do.
Well, Movie gets knocked down, though, so the rest of the Outlaws have to join him eventually. Graviton Surge, he gets caught in it. There it is, Dako with the double. And Muma down.
So nice.
Set up with a little bit of help there by Ersta.
And he puts the self-destruct up on that high ground and he just nudges it off the side, down towards the ground. Really nice play there from Dako.
Well, with the trajectory of the self-destruct, sometimes, like, you know, it's sat there detonating, but it stops moving, so it's easy to predict. But if you push it off the edge, it's kind of harder to predict where it's going to land because it's still moving at the time that it detonates.
Big EMP opportunity here for Dante. A lot
Also,
of players.
so low. He's going for it anyway, Matt. The EMP, regardless, he wants to fight here. He gets Pokemon first. Sound Barrier there might give the Reign a chance to clap back in this fight, but Defran was knocked prone and removed. Nice little shadow there from Muma to set that one up. Dako and Masa. Nothing really to be done there here for them, but at least, hey, they've caught up the Reign. 79% to 74. The Outlaws now have to hold.
And that has to be the most frustrating part about playing against a Sombra, is they actually play that right. Masa actually hides, does not get hit with the EMP, and he's able to come in and land a Sound Barrier, and still doesn't matter. It's not enough to keep players alive through the shadow that comes after.
The Outlaws have a Sound Barrier to work with here. That's a rally from Jake. Popo tries for the shadow, but it doesn't work out, and now he finds himself deep in enemy territory. Transcendence here into the graph from the Outlaws. The charge from him was good, but it's not enough to kill Popo. Kodak was actually able to follow him while he was being charged at Spree. And then, well, looks like he's gone over, Matt. Or perhaps a right click. He might have been low already. Here's an EMP,
Oh, that's
though.
huge.
That is large. It's sizable. Muma had the shatter there. Darko's going to get dealt with now. And on towards the point. He's been desuited. Dante still wants to deal with him, but a sound barrier here for Houston. They just lost control of the point. The Rain have actually managed to bring this one back into their favor. And Boink's gone down to Fran. The Outlaws have to clean up properly here, and then they'll be done. But there's two more players coming back in. Kodak coming back in on the Wrecking Ball. Popo's not far behind. The Sombra, though, so strong against the Wrecking Ball. And Popo gets taken down. There won't be anyone here now from the Rain. Overtime, it will be a chance for Darko to touch the point, potentially. He needs to get around the corner. He's stunned.
He got hacked as well.
Everything thrown at him there. And the Rain were already in a pretty compromising position now.
Yeah, I mean, 15 enemies EMP'd there from Dante on the first point. As the last EMP was huge. It connects with like 4 or 5 players, but it's really the EMP plus the Earth Shatter from Muma. It connects with everybody who's EMP'd. They're able to go in, wipe the floor with the players of Atlanta.
Both these teams have a lot to play for right now. The Stage 1 playoffs, in fact. Next Thursday, 6 p.m. PT. That's the 21st of March. Don't miss it. We will be crowning our Stage 1 champion after some intense games over these last 5 weeks. Don't miss it. And yeah, you know it's time to get to Mark.
This is not like it's not like a Mimi pick. Like, he's actually like really good at Tor. I'm
I
trying
love how you
to
say that
defend it.
with like a degree of like
Yeah, because, like,
incredulousness.
there's probably a lot of people who are like, all right, you're just lying to us. But not, his Torb is actually legit. Like, and I think it creates some problems for teams because you obviously don't play against Torbjorn quite often. Unless you're sitting home playing ranked, then you see him
You
all
play
the
him all the time.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Then you're a Torbjorn killing professional.
It doesn't matter what SR you are. Move over 2.
Well, you're not going to be able to do any work on Torb after that.
That's so nasty getting Popo and Masa. Getting Masa off there is ridiculous. Well, so when you go up against the composition that features an Orisa and you're trying to play Orisa, it's hard to get back in that.
This is where you need, I think, to switch off of the Torb. Like, you can't. I think if you take the point with Torb, I think you can stay on it.
Sure.
When you're trying to attack, that is Torb's weakness, so you'll see him switch off of that. They'll go with Winston here as the main tank, try and get behind this Orisa shield.
He protect, he no attack. Shame we won't see the Hanzo from Erster anymore. He switched over towards the Brigitte and the Winston from Popo. Again, when you're playing this Winston composition, Popo is probably just looking for a target right now.
It does put Atlanta behind in ultimate.
Dante, oh! What? He didn't see Darko behind him. I don't think he was expecting to take so much damage so quickly. Boink with a boot to Fran going over the edge to the hold. Massa also finds Spree. What a mess this fight is. But Raucus gets the Transcendence most importantly. Muma has a chance to set up behind that barrier. He needs to watch out from another halt though. That would be his demise. Houston still control the point. The Rain had to clean Houston off here completely. Darko has rocket pushes to get out of that one.
Yeah, they're going to come back. Dante now back in the action. Supercharger here dropped for Muma.
Popo's going to get melted down for that supercharger. The damage boost is huge for the rest of the Outlaws. Oh! Massa! Over the edge! Go Spree and Boink. So many environmental kills so far in this round. It's a lot of fun to watch. And that was a beautiful self-destruct from Darko. Muma couldn't get away from that one. A little bit too slow. Equine character's not exactly great at avoiding those. Jake, again, it's about stalling the point for the Outlaws here. Keep it under their control for as long as they can.
No, Boink dies. If Boink would have stayed alive a little bit longer, then you could have Dante come back on and cycle the point again. Do you stay on the Orisa here? Or do you go over to your own Winston if you're the Outlaws? I think that's probably what talked about coming out of the spawn. As you may, I mean, you could, as ridiculous as it sounds, an EMP plus a bunch of like halts towards the well, like there's no abilities to get out at that point.
Look, Muma quite simply can't really peel Popo off his backline. He can't, you know, double back and sort of get his supports out of trouble.
Well, he's hoping that Popo dives him, so he just fortifies and just stands.
Well, he's split from his team now. This is interesting positioning.
Interesting as in not great.
Yeah, I'm going to say that.
Followed by Erster.
Yeah, he just gets whip shot. That was very dubious indeed. Jake going down there, and the Outlaws, looks like they got their wires crossed there. Perhaps just a communication move. You can see Muma wanted to go to the point. The Outlaws would not or could not.
Yeah, really nice play, though, when Erster realizes there's no chance of Muma getting any support, just chases him around the point. Brig versus Orisa and able to take him out, but you know, even if you play around this supercharger, if Muma ends up getting it, like, who really uses it to great effect? I mean, I guess you can have Rockets do a lot of damage with the Discords and whatnot. As the Outlaws step onto the point.
Atlanta can't give this over for free.
Yeah, Pokepo's behind enemy lines here with Primal Rage.
Mumu is quite frequently having to replace that barrier. It's not pure focus on an Poke get cooked. Kodak still able to get the Transcendence off though. That's the most important part of that one. Oh no! Kodak went over the edge in his Transcendence. Boyd just sent it packing. The Outlaws are just broken the back of the rain there.
I'll tell you what though, that was such a sick setup play, is when they have to have an idea that Pokebo has Primal Rage, so they're playing near the front there, and as soon as he dives in, and he's gonna Primal behind them, then Dante EMPs before he can get it off.
Point just hustling these guys. This is filthy. Look at this, he lines Kodak up, waits for him to come across.
He's just hustling these guys.
Hustled into neutral even. 98%, 99, we're in overtime now, and that was a Graviton that we'd sooner forget if you're a Defran fan. Unfortunately, the Rain aren't going to be able to get that one back. They're going to need to forge ahead without the help of that Xayah ultimate. Self-destruct over the top 3, a little bit unsure where it was coming from. That's the second time Darko has sent it there. But Mumu's gone down already. The Rain have a player advantage. Pokepo now with the Primal Rage, and Dante's forced to translocate out. The Outlaws have to voluntarily get control of the point here and hope they don't get chased down.
And Atlanta wants to chase down, so Defran can build up another Graviton Surge. He uses it there.
That was a very quick grab build, to be honest. That was extremely fast.
Dante may be able to get a touch.
This is not good, though. Muma is... Like, you'd think on 4 feet you'd be a little bit quicker, but... No.
Dante touches, forces OT.
There has to be a touch now, Muma. Yeah, he had to fortify to get onto the point to make sure he couldn't get booped off for there, but no, Pokepo just blows him up! At the same time, in fact, point now down. Raucus was able to find a pick on Erster, but he just overextended a little bit. Can you imagine, can you believe this is still a first map? It's crazy. Atlanta now really dragged this one out, but now they're in control. Whole spree. Yeah, that grab's gone. You're not getting that one back at all over the edge. That's called payback. Master sends Raucus over the edge. He really was only transcendency to get to the point in the first place, so you can understand his positioning. And the Atlanta Rain even things up here on Ilios.
I think if you're Houston, you needed to switch off the Orisa. I think after, like, you know, the 2 pushes that don't work, like, let's get a Winston play and, you know, try and play the same exact game that Atlanta's playing, except you would have the Sombra in that case, right? I don't think you were getting a ton of value out of the Orisa. You weren't really getting, like, the halts you were earlier in the game, because they're able to spread out a little bit more with a more mobile comp. Probably need to go Winston there towards the end if you're Houston.
Yeah, just a challenge. But surely they're aware of that as well. I mean, switching off Orisa when you've lost control of the point is kind of what we're used to seeing, right?
And the one time that they came out of the spawn, like, Muma was like only like 30% towards Supercharger. Like, that probably would have been the prime opportunity to swap.
Yeah. One more round here and it'll be Ruins on Ilios. The Atlanta Rain looks much better. I mean, I don't really care if Defran misses grab smash. He gets one back like 5 seconds later. It's like right clicks, but at that point.
You see there, I think he saw the pack was hacked and then just tried to spot check in that area, potentially hit Dante with the beam and then break his stealth, so.
I mean, Sombra does give you a bit of extra power to play this right side of the map. That hacked health pack makes a difference when you don't have burst heal outside of Brigitte. I like that. Gonna give him a lot more sustainability. Still, the Rain managed to take the point and Dante and Co will have to work around from the outside of the point here. That's why Dark, you see, he's always going to the left-hand side. He and Master just trying to make sure the Outlaws can't encroach from that side of the map. Again, if you get too close to the edge, then either of them can knock you off. So the Outlaws have to be pretty careful.
It was interesting, Dante got hacked there at the beginning on Amasa. When the Rain were on the point, they decided not to push on getting the hack onto that Lucio. You know, they would have had absolutely 0 disengage in that moment.
Kodak thought he was safe, takes a couple hits and backs away, and on the left-hand side now coming with the Transcendence. See Pokepo's trying to get a little bit aggressive with Muma, and he is low. Oh, he's not going to get away with that one at all, and Ducko, yeah, he'll get it hacked for that one, but he doesn't really care. The Rain pushed forward. Again, they were searching for a weakness in the Outlaw structure, and then they see a 30% health Reinhardt and say, you know what? I'll have you, mate.
Yeah, and it looked like Jake, when he was using Rally, was just not near Muma. Maybe he didn't have the repair pack active, so wasn't able to get any burst healing onto him. So Dante on the point right now, that's who you see contesting.
And if he's contesting, he's visible right now. So he's a little bit vulnerable. Graviton Surge here by Defran, very opportunistic. Again, easy come, easy go, they say. EMP over the top, though, that might have been what they were looking for. Erster charged up against the wall. Dante's able to get rid of Defran here, and the Rain push far. on towards the point, but if they stagger this out, they might actually be able to come back before the Outlaws fully control the point, at least in some sort of number. Popo, unfortunately, doesn't want to be the last one to die. He's slower. You need to be taxied out unless you use the charge. He goes down, and Massa gets out. 78% for your Atlanta Reign.
And I think Atlanta knew that that sound barrier, the EMP was going to come from the backside when they used the sound barrier. I think they just thought they were going to win that fight when they had the grab and they had a few players inside of it and the trance was wearing off. But still not able to take that fight.
Yeah, whoever's got that Florida Mayhem spray be taking a Mickey.
Who has the mayhem?
I don't know. One of them does it though. Kodak! Oh, that's a big smuff. Okay. Again, it's a huge start to the fight here. The Reign won't get too far out of their own spawn. Some of them might be able to get away here. Boomer's starting to bare his fangs. Getting sassy. I like it. A fire strike and get himself a shatter now. 32%. The Outlaws need to do this for a little while, but they have an EMP from Dante soon. If there's one way you're going to win a fight cheaply, just throw an EMP in there.
Atlanta needs to just maybe use the Transcendence, get some of these Outlaw ultimates out. The Outlaw's going to have all 6 ultimates. See how Atlanta goes about playing this. Ducko does have the self-destruct to use as well. Poco with a shatter coming online here.
Well, you know he's thinking about it. Dante itching. Did that cue, and he lays it down. Kodak still gets the Transcendence despite that though, so the Atlanta Reign still have a chance in this fight, but that is a sizable shatter from Muma. Large even. Ursula just gets completely dashed aside as a fire strike went straight through into that side room, but the Reign still have players to work with. They want to push the point. Darko once again being hacked. Raucus, oh dear, he must have gone over the edge. There's no other way for him to take himself out. And the Atlanta Reign, after being forced to sit in the corner for about 75%, they return. The Outlaws cannot let them remain on the point for more than one more fight.
What a massive fight win there from Atlanta. The Outlaws have all 6 ultimates coming in. They don't end up using their sound barrier. They hold on to it, but DeFran ends up with a Graviton Surge there. Kodak with a perfectly timed Transcendence.
Yeah, ultimate percentage-wise, the Outlaws are not looking good. If Dante can somehow get an EMP for this next fight, they'll be happier. The Outlaws had to use a sound barrier early on to even get towards the point, and look at the disengage from the Reign. They're back up. Point takes a lot of damage, even trying to get close himself. Look at Jake, also down to half health. They have to take their time, the Outlaws here, but they don't have much to work with. Point is down, Jake is missing, 2 spawns missing, and that's 3. No healing left for the Houston Outlaws now. They're left with nothing but those bare health pools, and Muma on 20. He's not going to be enough to save them. Map number 1, the Atlanta Reign.
Kodak had a massive map 1. I mean, he doesn't position himself perfectly there and get that Transcendence off. Houston may end up winning that fight and then saving some ultimates. Huge play there from Kodak. It's map number 1 to Atlanta. We'll be back.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
You guys know them, you love them. It's the Houston Outlaws.
It's a little bit different this year.
No team is like guaranteed to win. Because our whole team is Overwatch League veterans from last season, everyone has like a better process to learn and grow together.
The big fan favorite squad of the Overwatch League.
If anything, we just need to stay 100% calm.
If you talk to me, I actually really want to play better.
Muma finds one, Raucus gets the other. Let's go!
I love you guys.
Whoa!
Yo, in and out. Can I get a table of 6?
As long as everyone keeps their confidence up, that's the thing that would like drive us to success.
The whole team has that same mentality of like supporting each other no matter what, through thick and thin.
It's a team game.
It's really just about playing our game and showing who's got it on stage, really.
And Muma just cleaning up.
We'll see what happens.
Houston Outlaws, they will not stop. They hold them off again.
Oh, Matt, they knew it wouldn't be easy, the Houston Outlaws, to take this particular match down. And that first map was competitive. It was close.
Yeah.
Just at the end of the last match in Ruins, kind of letting things go by the wayside. And you got to be frustrated from that. But, I mean, if there's any team that probably can recover from frustration like that, it's probably your Houston Outlaws.
Yeah, and no subs coming in for map number 2. So you don't see Dogman come in for the Atlanta Reign, and you don't see like Lynx or Cool Matt come in here for the Houston Outlaws. For me, that says more about Houston than Atlanta. Houston probably going to continue playing the Sombra Goats version. I know she's putting in the Sombra for the Diva. As we go on to Kings Row, Sombra can get there's some really nice EMPs, whether it's you know, through the street space, through from point A to B. So I think you'll start to see a lot of Sombra here still from the Houston Outlaws.
I remember last year, man, this was the map where, you know, the only map that Houston would actually get to play Spree, and his stats were so overinflated because the Outlaws always dominated on that map.
It's funny, you know, what they mentioned in the video, like, oh, Season 1 veterans, and then, I kind of talked about it before, and then you look at their lineup, like, well, you know, Dante wasn't on this team in Season 1. You know, Boink didn't really play a ton, and then neither did Spree, so you really just have the experience that, like, Muma, Jake, and Raucus have.
I went back and looked at it.
This playoff run.
I think as of, like, week 2, he and Bunny, it was like a 40-60 split, actually, so in maps. So he played a bit,
Oh, well,
but
that was because Boink did play like all of Stage 2 last year, because Stage 2 did have like a really Lucio-heavy meta. DeFran here on Widow. Gonna get off of Widow.
Watching him play Widow on his stream is amazing. He has a bit of fun with it. I'll leave it to those. Go check him out. A lot of these players actually are putting forward some really enjoyable stream content. Master, notice he was hacked up there on the wall. Didn't really bother him too much. Again, probably just trying to see if there's anything he could spot at the back of the formation of the Outlaws, which is Raucus. That's where he is, just straight chilling. Rumour's shield very close to breaking, so the Outlaws have to either get aggressive now or back up. And you see, it's almost like the Reign saw it coming.
It's like the 3rd or 4th time this series that they've tried to hack Masa, and then they don't really do anything about it. Like,
oh, this is gonna hurt. This is really gonna hurt the Outlaws. Oh. They have the challenge now on the point. DeFran is very well charged up.
Oh, there goes Muma's shield.
Pokpo's shield. Oh, the fire strike with the Discord orb. Yeah, Pokpo just got roasted. Muma a little bit low here. Kodak drops down. Was that what? Oh, he was sitting in the back corner, right. And saw the hack come in from the top side from Dante.
And Raucus is weak. He uses Transcendence. It'll be Kodak who uses his own here for Atlanta, and then Jake will actually rally. So a few of these ultimates invested later. I think this is because the Outlaws, they need everybody alive, because Popo is going to come back from the spawn. Huge, though.
That is crippling for the Atlanta Reign.
That's
and, you know, you got to be feeling a bit average if you're the Reign in that previous fight. They got no value out of that Transcendence, or not enough.
But their Transcendence did have Jake end up using his rally. So when Raucus used the Transcendence, and then you use your Transcendence a little bit later, you know the healing's going to last a little bit longer.
Yep.
So you're trying to out-heal that.
But Jake tried to overlay his own Transcendence with the extra.
So now you come in, you have a grab for Atlanta, and you know that there's no Transcendence, nothing really on the other side. This will be the rally that comes in from Ursa. Now you expect the grab to come in from DeFran eventually.
Dante's just translocated out of the front of the high ground. Oh, DeFran didn't see that one coming, completely blindsided. Darko and Kodak also knocked to the ground, and yet the Outlaws still can't find much from those kills. It's going to be a self-destruct in the middle. And a sound barrier to keep the Outlaws nice and durable as the fight continues to roll on. Darko high ground, Ursa pushing up, gets the bash towards Muma. Doesn't really bother him though, he just shrugs it off. Spree finally getting rid of the Brigitte here, but that late Transcendence for Kodak In fact, the timing was perfect. Don't like Gandalf, neither early nor late. Just arrives exactly when he intends to, and yet the Outlaws managed to cobble together some important kills to slow the rain down here.
It's just a really scrappy first point here as Defran's still holding this charge. She's going to end up getting another Graviton Surge here. He's going to beat Spree to get another one. So can you get this grab off and can it be good before Raucus gets Transcendent?
Defran's doing 30% of his team's damage right now. It's a huge amount. He goes for the grab, he just lets it rip and it works out. Big connection on all fronts. Finally, the Atlanta Reign are admitted on a point A. It took them about 3 minutes to do so, which means that this next couple stages are rather critical.
So Atlanta will take point A. This is where I think you can get a lot of value for the Outlaws around your Sombra. A lot of close quarters where the Sombra can do a lot of damage, build that EMP rather quickly.
Okay, I
they
like
engaged really quick here. I don't think they expected that grab to come out from Spree, but they want to get a hold here. They want to get into this choke.
Yeah, no, I don't want to take the choke, but if they actually get, 3 or more kills in this fight, they want to probably move to a bit of a quasi-spawn camp like we saw earlier today. So it was the Philadelphia Fusion.
I mean, in this position, it kind of forces Atlanta to group up as they come out of the spawn and get closer to the choke, and then you can get good value out of the EMPs.
There are a few different setups defensively you can transition into based on how well the fight here goes. The Outlaws are definitely happy with that. They want to make it hard for the Rain to get through this choke. It's a great way for Houston to accrue some ultimate percentage, but they're already ticking on 4 of those ultimates. Amuma, importantly, has an Earth Shatter. Remember, Earth Shatter can go under the payload, so there's a Reinhardt, you can put the hammer down while obscuring yourself from the vision of the enemy Reinhardt. You'll still hear the sound cue though. Ursa got the rally off by the looks of things with the EMP. It's hard.
Yeah, I think they knew exactly what they were walking into there, Atlanta, so they have Pogbo standing up in the cart as Jake will end up using his rally. They had the main tank for the Atlanta Reign Pogbo walk up to the cart, and they were seeing if maybe they'll come out with the EMP as Dante falls there late. That's going to be huge here for Atlanta. And no, Dante was not jumping out with EMP, not jumping out. So they had to try and force some type of action. They grouped up with a few of them. This Atlanta can take advantage though, Mitch.
Not now, they can't! Pogbo went down and a gigantic Earth Shatter connects and was forcing Defran to use the Graviton Surge. And all this has to happen without their Reinhardt there is what caused movement and knocked so many of them down, and Darko. Oh man.
There's no opportunity for like Hack or to build up another EMP in that time.
And what does he do? Keep an eye on Darko's percentage there. Okay, he got his mate back. He's all good. It would have been quite annoying for him though if he'd have been left out there to try. Here comes the push sound barrier from the Atlanta Reign. You know they're going to team that up with a speed boost and try and come forward on this fight. Shatter. Didn't really find too much there. Pogbo a little bit disappointed, but the Transcendence was exhausted from the Houston Outlaws. Master the sound barrier, of course, used prior. Oh, Darko, that's a cheek.
Nice.
That one just skirts around the building. He grinds it into the corner, so it just wiggles slowly around the corner. That's some tech there if I've ever seen it. Darko in a great position now just to slam Boomer as he's caught inside the bookstore. That's what we call late fees. The Atlanta Reign now, 54 seconds left.
The Outlaws will have another go at this though. You're going to have EMP, Earth Shatter. They've been so good at comboing those two. And then they're going to have 2 of their support ultimates, right? You look over to Atlanta. Kodak probably ends up getting Transcendence during this fight, but it's not 100%. Could fall early.
EMP. Eyes on Dante. He's on the right of screen currently on that high ground. Running from both sides. And this is the man you want to be watching right now. And it's almost as if Atlanta knew that, but Dante's going to go for it anyway. Still gets 5 at least. Poker went down so early. And now the Outlaws realize just how far ahead of this fight they are. They don't need to spend any more ultimates. Jake goes for the rally, which is always, it's often an insurance policy, I find, in these fights.
And Darko's still demeched here. He's actually gone all the way around.
This is bad. There's 10 seconds left, Matt. Darko's not even going to be back by the time we're pretty much into overtime. Defran, this has to be a fat grab.
Well, I mean, they have to stay alive along the cart enough to get it.
Transcendence start coming in very, very quickly from Kodak, but Pogbo getting charged out of the way, and he can't be saved. Kodak tried to chase him in there, and now the Graviton Surge from Defran, but there's no one here to follow it up, and now the Outlaws are just going to grin from behind those nice big sound barriers as the Atlanta Reign get ground to a screeching halt. Up goes Darko, down. And the Graviton Surge is thrown out now. The Outlaws are sitting pretty. Master getting hacked up and booped. All the CC required, one by one. The Atlanta Reign are going to have a crack at this one, but the EMP is going to make it much harder for them to get there. Well, I talked about the Outlaws being incredibly good at Kings Row last year. They're looking fantastic right now. This man on your screen hitting a big shadow when Pogbo was out of the way. And that's how the Outlaws climb back into this series and give themselves a chance at playoffs. The Reign It's a must win for both of these two teams. We'll be back in just a moment with the second half of Kings Row. We're locked and loaded now for the second half of Kings Row, in which the Houston Outlaws will be on the attack. And I guess positively for them, they were very good on defense. The Atlanta Reign didn't even make it to the Foundry, which is that last stage of the map. In fact, they didn't even get that second checkpoint. Kind of lays out what the Outlaws, exactly what they need to do here.
See, we see the good old trusted Jake Widowmaker here.
It's a classic, vintage. Well, you hate to see it.
So, in the first half of the game, Dante's hitting about 4 players per EMP, which is massive, just taking a lot of the members of the Atlanta Reign's abilities offline. And then one of the biggest differences, Muma, just in terms of damage output compared to Pogba. Muma able to play a little bit more aggressive when the other team doesn't have any of their abilities to stop him or put tons of damage down on him. Now, damage per 10 minutes, he's doubling Pogba. Muma having a really good game here in Kings Row.
He's playing aggressively as well. Playing very far forward. Perhaps, though, it might come back to bite the Outlaws with this first fight. This is...
Good early pickoff from DeFran on Arrakis.
I mean, losing him as Zenyatta Discord or being lost is probably one of the most frustrating things. Now, as you saw before, 10 out of 12 games on Kings Row for Houston have been won with Spree in their starting lineup. That's some pretty good numbers for them. And now, again, it is over multiple seasons and different metas, but...
You get a Zarya specialist, this should be their map. Like even when Zarya is not exactly like super strong, this is a map where Reinhardt and Zarya are great on.
When you're looking at Florida, like they have to make changes sometimes. You see that they don't play in the gravy on both the Zarya and the D.Va all the time. Like he's often playing the D.Va and then they switch out. So the Outlaws here, happy to just have Spree do as much as possible. They step onto the point for a brief moment, but look at this, Popo straight into the guts again. Boy won't get out of there alive.
I love the aggression from Atlanta.
This is not good for the Houston Outlaws. They want to get out of here post-haste.
Don't let the Outlaws gain this high ground position. Just keep denying it over and over again. The Outlaws want to get on that high ground. They want to let Spree start to put some damage down and then force action on the point, and then you get that big EMP that comes through.
So Raucus got that exit kill, actually, just then on towards Kodak, who will be brought back in by Massa. But Dante is in a great position to harass both of these guys. Again, every second that he holds them up, he might have pulled the plug a little bit early then, but again, now the Outlaws can push on. The Reign supports, 2 of them are just starting to rejoin the rest of them. It doesn't allow the Outlaws to get the point. Oh, it's a 6-man EMP! Lights out! Better bust out the candles and newspaper because you got nothing else to do now. Massa gets bubbled. Just going to get broken down. And that's it. Another team has emerged that is enjoying leveraging Sombra to really make a difference in these fights. Playing just the 2 tanks, going without the D.Va. It's working here for Houston.
And that's where, you see Atlanta, they play a little bit further back. Although they are waiting for Massa and Kodak to get back into the action. It's where, you see them huddle up in that corner. It's a perfect opportunity for an ultimate like an EMP or a Graviton Surge. And that time it's the EMP that gets the best of them. So is Dante keeps going for these hacks on Amasa, preventing, maybe it's like a sound barrier of the speed.
No, it prevented them from disengaging
Yeah.
or engaging us. That's quite huge. I see that. All right, mutual graviton surge. See, it's very pretty, but it's the smoke or the gravity waves clear, which actually aren't visible to human eye, but that's fine. Whatever. As they clear, no one has fallen. Jake and Raucus on Houston have both used those ultimates, free with the grab, of course.
So if you're Houston, you could actually, if you wanted to, engage with sound barrier, and they cannot engage. They cannot use sound barrier back because it's just going to get ripped off by the EMP here.
I think they want to bait
them up to it. Yeah.
They want to bait them into doing just that here. Moomer as well could just kind of use his Earth Shatter with his own volition in this fight. He can just go aggressive with it, try and force something. That's the EMP. Massa did not use sound barrier though. He will at least have that for the next fight, but he won't have a chance to use it in this one. And again, the Outlaws, that's a pretty cheaply won engagement. Just the EMP on top of all the other stuff they threw.
Yeah, I believe Massa ends up getting hacked there, so no opportunity for the sound barrier as see Dante go over the golem box.
I see you, but
right by.
Dante does not want a free haircut. Oh, Darko, that's annoying. He was already
So annoying though to like turn and then the hack comes through and then they're away and then you cannot keep track.
It's hard. You can't really protect your Reinhardt's shield. You can't prolong the duration of that Rein shield with the defense matrix. Okay, Darko might have tried to, hoping to fake a self-destruct there, but now the Graviton comes in. Sound barrier was well employed by the Atlanta Reign. Remember, Master saved that from the previous fight. Moomer had one as well, but he got ripped off and pretty darn quickly. Both Briggs rally to me. Starting to get aggressive, apparently. But Poco's Earth Shatter, Poco, should I say, his Earth Shatter does not connect. Moomer's still holding his. He's like a shark.
And if you're Muma, you can decide to invest it here, or you can let Dante get some more poke, build up an EMP Shatter here, move the card on through.
Look at this guy, just galaxy brain, huge, wrinkly, grey matter. Where's he going with that one? Self-destruct. Oh, again, another cheeky one there from Darko. He likes to set him up against walls. Moomer has to back out.
It buys them space. It comes from the backside of the Outlaws, and they don't see it coming over the top. And the Outlaws are forced to disengage from what would have been a really good position to use that EMP plus Earth Shatter combination. They will have an opportunity here, though, to set it up. It's, no support ultimates online for Atlanta.
Tension starting to rise on the Outlaw side, though. They're down to 90 seconds. They need to win the fight.
This is a fight they know they should win. So I think losing this one would really put them in a tough spot.
Be an EMP over the top. Notice that Darko is actually playing on that high ground. Dante doesn't care. He goes around and gets 3 at least with an EMP. Dante is caught inside a Graviton Surge. And Moomer's Earth Shatter doesn't seem to have done a whole lot. That's the Fran with the grab. Oh, man. The Outlaws, you said it yourself, Matt. They should win this one. They kind of had to win this one, and now they're going to be split. They might be forced into stalling as well. You watch Buster, see if he speed boosts the rest of the Reign to chase the Outlaws. Well, perhaps that's too risky here.
I think he's going to go back and go get Popo, get him right back into the front.
Yep, he's returned. And now, has to be a big Graviton Surge. A bit of the Atlanta Reign do have a Transcendence to respond to this one pretty quickly. Master's not too far away from another sound barrier here. His Texan squad starting to sweat now. Spree wants to push forward. Raucus gets a very tight link Transcendence, and Spree pushes up. Dante over that high ground. It's going to be a rally. Sound barrier now being used by the Reign. It was an Earth Shatter attack. Movement connects. That is huge! Oh, no! The Reign! Well, they feel the Earth move under their feet. Heaven and Earth reverse themselves, and they find themselves losing their map. Move up! You animal!
Dude, and DeFran had another grab there towards the end. As Atlanta, it looks like they got past the tough fight where there was the EMP plus Shatter.
What a monster!
Oh,
that is so huge. Just when he needed to have it, he was still having to deal with an enemy. Reinhardt was still standing, had to get around Popo somehow. Gets the chunkiest 6-man Shatter I've seen. Yeehaw! We'll see you guys after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered. Hey, Outlaw fans, I got good news. Big Papa Muma's in the building, and he's keeping you in the game. It's all tied up. One apiece at the half. Welcome back into the Blizz Arena. It's Puckett. We've got Bren, we've got Zoe, and this is a massive matchup if you're looking at our Stage 1 playoff implications. So big, in fact, that I feel like we should check in on the standings here, because, Bren, we got some interesting scenarios for these teams.
Yes, we really do. It is just ridiculous all over the place. I mean, realistically, it's still anyone's game who can be sneaking into the 8th place here.
You got Reign there at number 9. You got Houston Outlaws at number 11. But for the Reign and for the Guangzhou Charge, who are at number 10, it's pretty simple. You win, you jump up. You're into the playoffs. You're going forward. For Outlaws, if you pull off the victory here in this matchup, you are hoping that the Titans stay true to their performances up to this point and sweep with a 7-0. So you need a little bit of help later on in the day. With that said, let's continue with halftime, and it all starts here with Ilios. Bren, I know you saw a lot of big brain plays.
Yep.
You ready to break it down for us?
I've got so many intricate plays to break down for this first map, Puckett. A lovely little illustration for us here today. And realistically, you know, it's just absolutely fantastic. So I cannot wait to really get into the nitty-gritties of this one. And
Insights powered by Intel. Well, guess what, Bren? This one's mine. I worked with Johnny. These are all the plays that ended up with players falling in the well. Let's take a look. It all started with Muma, right? Muma on the Orisa, and then, of course, Masa really turning the tide. The double boop.
What is this?
This was the game-changing moment. Don't worry.
My play?
Yeah, Johnny and I agree. This is a way better playlist. Look at this. Boink, setting it up. He gets his own. Kodak, where are you going with that transcendence? Brent, I got more. I got more for you. 10 total environmental kills on our first map. It was way better than that simple tank break that we're going to do for us.
Okay, I'm not angry at this. This was a slugfest.
You good with that?
Well, yeah, fair enough.
Insights powered by Intel. Let's keep it simple, kids. Boop them into the well. They can't shoot back at you. It's done. All right, so game 1 is in favor of our Atlanta squad. Let's now talk about how Houston brought it back in game 2.
Absolutely. The man of the match, realistically, so far, for me, Dante, you know, on the Sombra. I think that's a fair point. You know, map 2, he's had a phenomenal game.
We had like 2 people go, woo!
Just do
Now you can hype it up a little bit more, honestly. Dante was the main reason why Outlaws actually managed to win that game. They always waited for the EMP to be ready, and that is when they engaged. And they had a lot of clever engages in that way, and Dante just got away with murder.
Yep.
Atlanta did not shut him down. They had to focus him, and they did not manage to do so.
So do you just keep running this guy on Sombra the rest of the series?
I mean, as long as it works, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, this is realistically as well. I'm looking at Atlanta Reign, and they haven't figured out how to play around the Sombra. They're playing very passive. You need to be playing aggressive into it. You need to be denying Dante from getting value out of his hacks and whatnot. But look at this. I mean, 4 deaths as well on King's Row here. And again, it's just denying them all the time. And it's like you said, Zoe, they're just waiting for him to build up the EMP. They're engaging off the back of it, and they're just winning every single team fight because they just don't really know quite how to engage around it.
You saw Daco, he's been spy hunting. That Diva is constantly going to be spraying the map, but Dante so far has been avoiding being caught. So let's talk second half predictions. Let's start with you, Brent. Does Atlanta secure their spot in the playoffs right now?
I'm sticking with my current prediction with Houston Outlaws. I think they're going to be able to take this one. Realistically, I feel like Atlanta, they haven't shown me much in terms of dealing with the Sombra. I've been wrong before, though. You know, it's rare, but I have been wrong.
So you're wearing neon green. Are you going with the Outlaws here?
You know me. I would never take the side of a team. I don't even know. No, I'm sticking to Atlanta Reign, and I will continue to do so. I take up my support.
Where
It's
was
split here in the Blizzard Arena. Our analysts don't know which way this one's going to go. Let us know in the chat right now who comes out on top. This one, a big one. We'll find out who's moving on to the stage playoffs. It's the last day here in Stage 1. We'll be right back with more games.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
it takes a fair bit to make me unironically hee-haw about the conclusion that King's Roadmap was quite impressive from these Outlaws. A big fat clap, earth shatter came down, 6 players all knocked down, and the rest was history. Great way for Houston to finish when they were being put under the gun.
It's always fun to see like different types of like ultimate combos, and you get like the self-destruct and the graviton surge, but to just see like a shatter on its own that just connects with so many people, it's like definitely one of the best ultimates to see the game actually come out and pay off. And Muma hits a game-winning one.
Right up on that corner, yeah. That was very, very important. Here's the substitutions for this next match. It is Pogman. I wonder if his socks look like Legos today. That's him, I guess. That's his alter ego.
What's it do with like the stuffed animals and stuff?
I don't know, man. Hey, look. Come on.
It's all good. It's a dog. He's dog, man. I get it. Makes sense.
Yeah. His Insta story is very busy. See pictures of shoes and socks quite often, so he's all about that. So he's coming in on the flex support role here. So he's definitely known as the more aggressive, I think, counterpart between him and Kodak.
Yeah.
He's definitely the other side of that conversation where he loves to go for those final blows, start off fights with kills. I mean, ironically, obviously he's the one that called Cruiser Feeder, but he functions kind of similarly in that Zenyatta role, except he kind of gets the kills from further away. He also gets picked off a fair bit early on, so he is that double-edged sword.
So it looks like Atlanta at this point now is going to come out with the Bastion on defense. I just wonder how the Outlaws are going to go attack this.
Where do they come from? How do they approach this?
I mean, you know, if you go underneath this way, like there's just going to be so much crossfire from the Bastion coming in. I feel like you have to kind of take the route where you go directly underneath. That's the only way to get by.
Okay. The Outlaws sneak under. Maybe force the rain down. Okay, I like this though. Muma on the wrecking ball. You can see where he is. He's sat right behind the rain, and I can't. It's hard to say if they're aware that he's even there right now. Sitting back. Ursa on the Widow though. This is kind of something I was waiting to see. I should have brought this up actually. Normally it's Enlair that we see play the Widowmaker on this roster. I mean, Ursa was sort of. I kind of hyped him up a lot actually. I'll be honest, as a damage dealing player. So getting to see him on this Widow is quite the treat. Doesn't have a lot to shoot at yet, in all fairness. It's been every now and then like Muma passing by.
The Outlaws read this well. I mean, they don't play like a really tank-heavy composition. They just want to spread out here. I see Muma on the wrecking ball just do a little bit of a ground pound down underneath. The Fran, you see, is just not even into this.
Got 2 plays on the point, 1.5 ticks
picks
already.
up Dante from far away, but...
Oh, Dogman's in trouble! He gets pile-driven by Muma. Spree, though, probably wouldn't get away. Oh, he sneaks out. Gets in the that's so cheeky.
I love wrecking balls.
The Fran and Muma face-to-face now.
They're not able to pick the Fran up, though. He slept up on the high ground. They're not able to finish him off. Muma have the mines now as Muma's going to wait. He thought about dropping down, putting them right on top of the Fran, but you ended up using a nano boost there as well.
I think Muma just wants to go and harass on the spawn side. There is no one currently en route from the Atlanta spawn. So maybe that's what he was thinking. Either way, he's got himself embedded behind enemy lines. All right, he's trying to play mousetrap. Jake is taken down. Ooh. Okay. That's not ideal that Jake even got revealed on that Sombra in the first place. So the Fran's like, yo, that Sombra's dead? Sweet. Sit up here, dude.
Now he's set up in the middle. I think this is really working well because the Fran's constantly changing positions.
I mean, you have to. I said it last year, but it's like playing cello in a marching band, right? You have to pack up, get up, put the thing down. Because you have to sit while you play cello.
It's a lot like playing cello in a marching band.
Yeah. Oh! Oh, no! Oh, okay.
That's great.
Well,
I love it.
Hey, excuse me. You
bust out the offensive Symmetra, dude. Just get the TP going up to the high ground. We've seen that work against this. Muma still has these mines. Just trying to figure out the best way to use them.
Amasa knows Dante's there. Okay, backs away now. Mines in the sky. Big stick on the Fran. It's enough to get the job done. What we thought was mission impossible. Oh, no, he's going to get brought back up. The Fran resurrected Dante.
He's back.
Has to get out.
The point.
Jake is on the point. They have to get there pretty quickly. Focus going to drop down a supercharger for that little extra elbow grease that they need to take the point. And Atlanta are all good. They managed to respond. And they managed to get back in time here. Ursa playing in a position. He's really trying to keep an eye on Dante. Dante has to use blinks to even get out of the door.
And the Outlaws clearly did not watch my beautiful drawing, because they have gone the complete opposite direction of the way I think they probably should have went.
It was a
Now it works.
I liked it. Probably needs some more practice, but we'll get there.
Hey.
3-man hack to Franz hacked as well, so no turret over him, and then put to sleep. Raucus making sure the job got done this time. Spree, Moomer actually. Okay. Moomer knocks Erster off the high ground. There was actually a self-destruct up there, but Erster's going to jump back up here with a grappling hook.
This is not over.
Jake.
You still have
Infraside.
here.
I mean, this Infraside is huge.
Yeah.
Jake can't go anywhere undetected right now. He's constantly detected. Moomer doesn't have a headshot hitbox right now in that ball form, so Erster can't get critical hits against him, but, I mean, he can still do damage from range. Defran set up. This is the bunker comp. Defran can chill out there. He can just start flipping some burgers, whatever he wants. It doesn't matter. He's got protection. Moomer pushing in now, trying to get on top of Defran, but again, he can't stay for too long. Selton, oh! Dante got caught out by that one. Moomer had to go that way. Darko looked like a prediction of some sort, but the Atlanta Raid were able to set that one up beautifully. And Defran, give him the Dilmar treatment. And that'll be it. The defense holds strong. And Defran had to limber up. He had to stretch his legs a bit. He's been sitting in one place for the entire round. It does, you know, you need to work that circulation.
I love it, Atlanta. That was awesome.
Oh. Let's go, dude. After the break, it'll be Atlanta that go on the attack. First it was the yeehaw, then it was the monkey laugh, or the hyena laugh from me. How many secrets are we going to have left at the end of this series? These two teams are bringing out the best or the worst in us, I'm not sure. Here's that bomb, though, from Darko. Oh, now Moomer's like, oh, I don't want to be here. Hey, he didn't have any choice.
All right, so the Outlaws on defense, they're going to come out with Farah, Torb, Sombra, the good old triple DPS. 3 damage dealers, 2 supports.
Okay.
Muma playing Orisa, and no surprise here for what Atlanta's bringing out.
I'm okay with a bit of Torb action, especially if they're expecting some sort of like flankers or something like that. That's fine.
The issue for the Outlaws is like if Atlanta makes it to the point, how are you getting them off?
Getting them off.
You only really have Muma to contest.
It's not a great team also for cleaning up, you know. Jake is obviously only the one doing most of the damage. Spree needs his turrets to be in the right location. I mean, Molten Core, pretty powerful if everyone's in the same spot.
I was waiting for the other half of that. Molten Core and what your breakdown of.
Oh, well, I mean, does damage over time, and if the more armor you have, the more damage you sort of take.
This is all accurate information.
Yeah, so that's pretty nice. A lot of armor on the Atlanta side, especially when you rally. Oh, okay, Jake catches him. Again, you can get area of effect damage down on Brigidas. You do have to work around the shield. So,
the good old the space route up there in my favorite strategies with the good old Reaper pick here.
Yeah, don't know how they're breathing, but it's not really an issue. It's fine. I don't know how I can hear their pings. But, I mean, if there's nowhere out there.
All right, so I kind of like this, where Ursa dies first, and he switches to Widowmaker, so maybe they think they're going to spawn camp like a Like
they found him. They found Erster.
Now they know exactly where he is.
They pushed towards Erster, who was just outside of Atlanta Rain spawn, or just further down. But Erster gets away with it.
Yeah, but if the Outlaws turn and play on the point, he's going to have free reign to hit a bunch of shots.
I think they're going to leave Dante to try and deal with him and hope that Jake can do enough damage. Oh, the coalescence, so he's going to force him out of the way. Dogman been training with Master Roshi lately, I'd see. All right, I like it. Bionic Orb gets 2. An EMP for Dante might be a little bit too late in the day to make a difference. It is! The Atlanta Rain got 2 maps to 1. And set themselves up for a tilt, cleaning off this series and solidifying that playoff spot. You know, they want it. They're hungry for it. And they're pretty much on a trajectory to do so there. Again, some wacky stuff. We got to see a lot of fun stuff in that map. But we get serious again on the other side of these messages.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Now, who do I have to bring Tim Tams to make sure I get this Outlaws versus Atlanta game every stage?
Me.
Every stage where it's possible, at least. You?
I'll take the Tim Tams.
But you're going to make it happen for me?
They're phenomenal. Yeah, I'm sure I can sort it out.
You can actually get them here in the States.
Yeah.
So it's pretty nice. But that's an Australian treasure.
I like the please play Dante sign. Like, yes, they will play Dante. They acquired him in the offseason to play him in moments like this.
You can, to a certain degree of certainty, expect him to be in the roster. Yep.
Yeah. I think they've got...
That's like someone coming with an Atlanta sign, be like, please play Defran.
That
you know
will
what?
most likely happen.
I guess we can.
I tell you what, though, losing the map in the way that they lose it has to be so frustrating for the Outlaws. In the fact that, you know, the Bastion pick, it's kind of trolly to a point, but also Atlanta plays stuff like this, so it's not really that kind of trolly. In that, it's just frustrating to deal with, even when you play at home, right? Just dealing with a Bastion, trying to figure that out.
My boy Rocker's got to be shook after getting 180 no-scope by that Bastion in that, from across the map in that last round. That'd be annoying. Again, you're right, though. It is something that the Outlaws have to shake off, right? They've been here before. They've played a lot of these map 5s.
Yeah, no, it'll be the Outlaws on defense here to kick things off. So we'll see how they play this and they play around the Sombra. Like, I mean, you can set up like on the high ground back up here. You can go up on the high ground they currently are on, but it's really, you know, this first choke point on that corner there, that's where they really want to make the difference. Hold there for a very long time.
Defran will be looking for a pick straight away. Boomer will throw his shield up after the fire strike gets sent out. The ult percentage being given over. Walkers gets a little bit of a head start. Okay, Ursa on the fire, yes! Okay, this is what I want to see. Oh, come on, bro! Okay, so he was touted as a very good projectile damage dealer player, a projectile DPS player. I really want to see that fire, but that's fine. That's fine. He's got to be on that bridge. And on the high ground goes Darko just to try and secure that. And the Outlaws actually given a lot of ground here, Matt, without really any strong reason to, I suppose. We see teams fight harder over that high ground area.
So, well, usually you can fight pretty hard if you're like the defensive team. If you're playing with the diva, you don't have the diva. To,
We've seen attacking teams have to go around this way, like where the Outlaws are, but they're on defense, so they give a lot of ground. Maybe uncertain. Maybe the set play involves them giving you a bit more ground.
They get a hack on a Poka, so they try to back up here. Atlanta need Reinhardt's shield to push on forward.
I mean, that's when if you're Raucous or someone, you're just going ham with those orbs, right?
Maybe you should. So.
Popo knocked back. Oh, move up, fire strike! Oh dear.
This is really bad for Houston, Mitch.
Yeah, oh, okay, Dogman. Let him know, let him know! You let him know.
Hey, bro, you start playing well.
I don't understand how Zenyatta crouches when his feet don't touch the ground, but okay. Quality of life features have been put in.
And I'm all right with the smack talk if you do it during the game, like before the game, like after, like just talking to the smack after the game. I don't mind it there, as they use the EMP to just kind of wipe the floor. As the Outlaws know that they need to win these fights pretty handily, they can't allow Atlanta to get a ton of payload progress. So you saw, like earlier, Captain Planet was saying the lower third, it was like, what, 39% or 30% of the time that if you take that first point, you're able to complete the map. So, but Atlanta has a ton of time, right? I mean, over 4 minutes to keep this payload moving. It's a tough go here at the beginning for the Outlaws.
Oh, Mumi gets pushed. That was a very quick speed boost. Look at everyone behind him. He's been surrounded on all sides. Point tried to do the same, but the Outlaws are kind of trying to back away. Great way of using a burst of speed to split off an enemy Reinhardt.
But where is the help for Muma? Like, that's the second fight in a row where we've seen him get really low and no kind of help. Like, you know,
the bubble was there. It just wasn't
spread around. Yeah, I guess. But I mean, you know, the repair pack, anything with ultimate.
Wow, man. They're really going to do it to him like that. The fan just walks up and gets grabbed. The Outlaws need to do something with that. I guess Spree didn't have any charge, so he was hoping to start the fight from that way, but...
Okay. The Fran is 2 deaths. It wasn't like he was really charged up either.
No. The Outlaws probably just wanted to try and get a foothold here. They need to be in a position where they can flexibly rotate to the high ground. Okay, they hear the rally coming out from the range, so the Outlaws know there is about to be a fight. Dante's very close to EMP. Jake has his rally, he can use that one. Here's that grab, Raucous just drops it straight over the Transcendent. Dark over the top, EMP, movement down! To that self-destruct, the EMP from Dante, it goes seemingly unnoticed. The Outlaws don't really have the ability to follow up.
How do they follow up when the self-destruct is up in the sky? They have to wait for the self-destruct to go off. It still connects at 1.
I don't know about you, man. That EMP will last for a hecking long time.
Look, they're just playing games of Raucous here.
I don't think Raucous wants to play that game. I think he wants to play something else. Maybe the expansion to that game. So the Reign have made excellent progress so far. The Outlaws, do they look uncertain on this map? Because it seems like they're giving more ground than some other teams are, and the places they're choosing to fight are a bit odd.
I mean, I think with how long it's taken them, like they were getting EMPs every minute, let's say. I mean, now 1 minute and 30 for Dante, so you're playing around this EMP, which they've done so well. So the Shatter come down, another one answered back here from Muma.
Yeah, getting to Fran is just massive there. I like the Shatter from Popo set up with a boot from Massa, but Outlaws clap back just a bit harder.
But when you're playing around the EMP, and you don't build it for like the whole first point, and then you get a poor use out of it at the second point, like it goes after a while where now you're playing around this ultimate. And it's like, if you're not even winning the fights with it, what are you really doing? And you kind of know with Houston's lineup that they have out there, they're not really going to go like traditional 3-3. They're going to stick on this.
Yep. Much like the Dallas Field currently, they really want to integrate Sombra and have just the 2.
But I think the difference, though, is that you can have RCK play the Diva. We don't really see Dante play a ton of the Diva.
It's an excellent point. Gives them a bit more flexibility. The Outlaws are just going to make do with this. I've seen Dante play Diva. He does that. I can play anything. Trust me. Right. Dante now. Bit of harassment. Might have to become Fiddler on the roof in just a moment and return back to that translocator.
I think Atlanta's playing this smart, though. They're building up the ultimates. They know they have the advantage in terms of where they push the payload and how much time they have left. Like, this is not Atlanta's game to win, so to speak. Like, they've already kind of accomplished what they need to do here.
Oh, he had the shield bashed away, but he was forced to turn his back, and Dogman got him with an orb. Spree, he hoped for so much more from that grab, but the follow-up was not there. The Outlaws lose 3 and give just more ground. Atlanta, this is very fast time for this map. We saw earlier today the stat came up. It's very rare. I think, what, 32% of the time?
They forgot the cart.
Yeah, well, that's not ideal.
So now we have to all go back and start moving the cart.
Yeah, it is bring the cart to work day, guys. Every day here in the Overwatch League. Moomer front and center again. Doesn't want to get overrun like he has the last couple of times. Okay, how do they respond to this from Darko? Oh, Jake. Jake's not in a great spot. He had to split himself off to avoid getting taken down, and now the Outlaws are down to 5 again. Transcendence coming into play now. It's a 6-man EMP, and there's the follow-up. That's all Moomer needed, just to make sure that Pogpo couldn't shield it all. There's not that much to ask really at all. DeFran still hard charged up quite a lot here. He's looking to get some ultimate percentage before he gets gunned down. That's why Moomer kept his shield up.
If you're Atlanta, you have to feel great about your position in the series as a whole. The only way that they've been able to win fights, the Outlaws, consistently, is with EMP Shatter. It's the only way they've been able to take these fights. Even with grab usage, you've been able to withstand through that. There's not as much damage, no self-destruct coming over the top.
That's right, they don't have that combo piece, I suppose. I guess it limits them to a degree. Although, sometimes you can win fights with just the EMP. You have to follow upstairs. He's that grab. Can they win a fight with just a grab? That's the real question. The answer is probably not now. It's going to be the Transcendence coming out from Dogman. And Jake gets taken down. Atlanta Reign respond nicely to that Graviton surge, which Houston haven't been getting much traction out of.
I mean, using the grab to really build up Mooma's Shatter is going to be DeFran with a grab. The
home.
cart
They're getting
moving on in. That'll be Atlantic. They're leading the map with some time in the bank. That is big.
So here's what I hope for that Atlanta have put in place within their team structure for Dogman. I think this is something really important as the team develops, is that they get a light and they shine it at the clouds. And it's like a dog symbol. It's like the bat symbol, but it's a dog. So when they need him to play, they're just like, you know, Gotham or LA, doesn't really matter where, right? You just like turn it on and bam, he subs in.
So, Dogman, I feel like coming in as a player, right? I think he brings a lot of just energy on the stage when he gets up there. He's talking a lot of smack. You know, he's looking over to the other team. He's looking at the crowd.
He said that trash talk, you know, that he obviously said about Cruz, which is ancient history now. People still get upset, but it was just for him. It was for him, you know what I mean? Like,
somebody said something over there.
I insulted you lightheartedly for me. So it's important for him. Like, he needs that momentum. He needs that sort of, he needs to be gassed up by his teammates, you know what I mean? He needs to be hyped. I feel that.
Yeah, and I think when you looked at how the Outlaws played their first defense, I think the issue is they take their first fight like all the way back here, like in the back of the choke. And I think the problem is you need to take that first fight like up in like this area almost, like in this area of the map, like right there. Like if you take the first fight on this corner, you at least get an opportunity to get a second fight here, which gives you the opportunity of a 2-fight. The Outlaws never got those 2 fights. They ended up only getting that initial one there on the first point, which ends up really hurting them and allowing Atlanta to have a ton of time.
I just thought it was strange they gave up the high ground there so easily. I don't think, something tells me the Reign are not the kind of team to do that though. We'll see. They're actually playing on the low ground anyway, but we'll see how easy they are to back up here. Moomer already getting into some fisticuffs with Darko. Erster, DeFran, he's in trouble, yep. Point got him. With Pogpo being hacked, the Reign have to back up in a big way, I guess. Here's the other side of the coin for you, Matt. A little bit over-aggressive, the Atlanta Reign, and it kind of blows up in their face. But hey,
but they're still going to get another fight.
That's right.
I mean, they're still going to get another fight. I mean, you build up some type of ultimate percentage.
And Dogman could have Transcendence for that fight.
I mean, Dogman ends up getting closer towards the Transcendence. Look, I'd much rather take the 2 fights than the 1, especially how good you can hold this first defensive point.
Okay, it's like saying, do you want 2 ice creams or 1? If it's me, I'm always going to say 2. I mean, your boy.
Those 2 ice creams can spiral out of control pretty quick.
Oh, bro. No, that's my childhood in a nutshell. DeFran, was this knockback there? Look, you can see he wanted to get aggressive, but this is acceptable for the Reign. The payload stopped here. They're playing on the choke. They can use the corner.
Just like Atlanta wants to build ultimates, Houston trying to build something.
Okay, they got to do something with this ultimate though. Now they don't
want to play the choke. They want to get out.
The Outlaws back away, and now, yep, here comes the pendulum. It swings back. And Atlanta Reign are on the wrong side of the law this time. Oddly enough, given to the Outlaws, but hey. Dante cleans up that fight. It wasn't a huge EMP, it didn't have to be. That area is a little bit hard to get like a massive EMP because people can break it line of sight. But still, that is what the Outlaws needed to stay competitive in this map. A nice quick clear on that first checkpoint.
So now they'll push up a little bit further here, the Outlaws. You see, they just leave 2 players up on the payload. They're going to send like Boink, Muma, and Spree up towards the front. They back out now, though. Not able to catch any stragglers coming out of the spawn.
Aggressive. very quickly to get to the punch here against the Outlaws. And okay, don't know what that says in the kill feed, don't ask me. Lunar knocked off the edge though. Massa also missing. Okay, might be something here. Without the Reinhardt though, the Outlaws don't want to stay out here for too long. Someone like Dogman could just beam them down with a salvo of Orbeez. The rain tentatively back around the corner. They know that Muma spawns close. He can just charge across the bridge. Muma's probably he's back now. Quickly reinforced. Massa has also returned. He also has a mobility ability, so reasonable. Look what they're doing to poke post shield. He had to put it down, and Raucus put him down. Dante tries to drop in, gets a hack to Fran as though they're looking charged up, but the sound barrier for the Houston Outlaws will propel them forward. They might not need it here. Getting Massa.
Why not?
The rain cannot disengage. They can't speed boost out of this one, so Dogman has to just go forward and try and be sent back to spawn quicker. What's going on here? Dante is on a mission. All right, wants to have a word with Darko. Careful, the micro rocket. Oh, Dante! Ah, the hubris of man.
See how you use the...
It's like the plot of iRobot. You know, you thought you had him under your thumb, and then there's a big rebellion, and all of a sudden, you are the oppressed class.
So,
Feels bad.
Dogman switches over to Ana, and I kind of like this decision because with the Zenyatta, you're obviously prone to getting hacked by Dante quite often and whatnot, but I also think that you don't have another big combo on the other side. So like Transcendent's a very good ultimate, but I think you can get more out of the nano boost. If you nano boost like the Fran or nano boost Pokepo, they'll build up their ultimates quite quicker. I think you probably get a little bit more value out of it.
We used to see that quite often where, you know, like your Reinhardt was a very important part of your team. You give a nano boost to him, so he could just do more damage. More damage, more charge again. Yeah, it's a burst heal. That's pretty nice. Dante, EMP, that's a sizable one. He gets to Fran, most importantly. No bubbles to start this fight off. Dante, interesting use of the translocator just to slightly adjust his positioning, but now the Transcendents again for the Houston Outlaws. They're happy with the timing. Oh, anti-nade. Move went very low. Jake also seen better days. And now with that decent on Darko, the Outlaws are able to keep marching on. Both these teams having some issues with their defensive efforts. But on the attack, both are looking hot to trot.
So also you like no Diva on the other side, so no chance of eating up any of those biotic grenades that come out from Dogman, so can deny some of the healing of the Houston Outlaws.
I mean, the utility that the biotic grenade provides, especially when Transcendence is an issue. We've seen teams sometimes, Jae-Hong's done it a couple times for the Seoul Dynasty. He will switch to the Ana if he knows the enemy Zenyatta has Transcendence, because he can still win the fight. He can hit a big bio. Like that one, Muma, oh, he's dead. That was a nasty grenade by Dogman, and of course, yes, I guess the Graviton Surge helped. But I like it. I'm enjoying watching this Ana play. And again, you can get a lot of healing. Diva also, not only does she eat biotic grenades, but she gets in the way of Ana trying to heal teammates, which is a considerable portion of said healing. All of Ana's healing can be mitigated by Defense Matrix, I guess, if you don't count nano boost.
And you can do this if you're the 3 out. Kind of, we all saw how that was going to end.
Just a gangster. He doesn't care.
I wouldn't describe Lucio moving Azaria into the...
He has that attitude, right? He likes to, he's happy to play aggressive, you know? The Outlaws are outside of their own spawn.
Yeah, now the Outlaws opting not to go near...
What was that spray? He just fires that one down, right? It still works, though. Soundberry gets torn from the Atlanta Rain. They were hoping that one would keep them alive in this fight. That is called going long, fam.
So now you have Massa trying to back all the way up here. They're going to have self-destruct, which I know it's done a good job so far in this series, splitting some players off. You're able to get that big kill on a Jake here towards the end of Atlanta's attack.
I love that from Spree.
And you have Nano.
We don't see those long-range Gravitons anymore. They were a lot of fun. So Nano Boost. Okay, looks like Pokepo's going to get it here. Extra durability, extra damage.
Spree's cut off, though.
Burst health. With Spree gone. Ow. I know how sick you guys are hearing that Zarya teamfight stat, but you know what I'm talking about. Rumor goes down.
And please, if you're in Atlanta Rain, be careful. Do not get backcapped here. We've seen way too many in the stage 1.
Doesn't look like it's going to be the case this time. They are keeping...
they had Dako on the card just spinning in circles, just shooting everywhere.
You got to spy check that.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Like, Sombra does not contest control points when she's invisible, but obviously she can still get behind you on back cap. Okay, Dante just got bopped. Pogman.
He's going to bide some time here for Atlanta. Allow them to build up on some of these ultimates. Houston would have had a pretty nice advantage with Transcendence and Shatter, probably an EMP here as well.
What a window, huh? They might have to rely on that old EMP Shatter adage again. Remember, EMP is very effective against this Atlanta Rain roster in terms of shutting down a vast majority of his ultimate. Graviton Surge with Defran, and we know he charges it quickly. That'd be a very good way to slow the Outlaws down and give yourself some breathing room. That's also good too. Oh, Darko! Dante. Obviously, he wasn't aiming for Dante, but he'll take it.
And it's like they have Muma so pushed up on the cart that obviously no way he can get all the way back and protect anybody. And in that open courtyard out by that L-shaped corner, there's nowhere for players to hide. So that's 2 fights in a row. You get the kill on a Dante to win that fight. And then this time Darko uses self-destruct. 2 fights there that Jake is now sleeping and have to wait even longer. But those 2 fights allow Atlanta to build up to probably a sound barrier, a nano boost, another Graviton Surge. Huge wins in those 2 fights for Atlanta. And it's only like 1 elimination going each way.
Yeah. And there's 1 fight now. There's going to be a lot of things happening in the next few seconds, so we'll see you on the other side. Fired a grenade there on the middle screen. If they follow up on that one, the Rain, that would be huge. EMP now thrown into the mix, and immediately Raucus has to go for the Transcendence. Pokeball is knocked down. He's still being healed though. He stayed alive. The right half of the Atlanta Rain stands, and he gets 3 with 1 swing. Well, that's one way to send a message. And the Atlanta Rain will take the series, solidify their spot in the playoffs in their first stage of the Overwatch League. And Dogman, of course, knows a dog ears. But I don't know what
Like, are they like the wolf pack or something?
Could be. Again, elation for the Atlanta Rain. They knew they should be up on that top 8, and now they've proven it. Houston Outlaws, another disappointing end to another stage. So close back and forth, but that Horizon Lunar Colony performance from the Outlaws will haunt them as they take a couple weeks off now. That was really where they ran out of steam.
Yeah, and I think you saw as the series went on, Atlanta started to figure out the combos that the Outlaws were trying to set up. Whether it was the EMP into the Shatter, they constantly trying to use some of these combos. I think you saw the biggest adjustment there at the end when Dogman was able to go on him. I thought you saw really nice plays here from him. The Biotic Grenade was huge.
Yeah. The nano boost as well over to Pokpo when he was caught inside like Graviton Surge. Yeah. The damage mitigation was what kept him alive. Yeah, I mean, the Biotic Grenade, when you follow up on that one, it's beautiful. Anyway, I like a bit of Ana. I also like people to play Ana, so let's now head down to the floor with Dogman and Danny.
Thanks, guys. What is up, everybody? I am here with Dogman from Atlanta Rain, everybody. Make some noise. Congratulations on the win. You guys have clinched a spot in the playoffs. And not only that, I heard that today is a very, very special day for you and the fans because it's Atlanta Rain Day today here at the Blizzard Arena. How are you feeling right now, bro?
Good. I'm glad we get to, make playoffs and bring Atlanta home a win, hopefully. We make the stage finals and get the win. Hopefully. We'll see.
How likely do you think you could go to the stage finals?
If we play like we did preseason and in the first few weeks, I think there's no way that we don't make finals.
That is true. And also, talking about the playoffs, for the first round of Stage 1 playoffs, you guys will be playing against either Philadelphia Fusion or the Toronto Defiant. If you could, sort of choose your opponent, Dogman, who would you choose?
Philadelphia Fusion, without a doubt. I want that rematch. Let's go!
Let's go. You heard the man, everybody. That's it for me. Back to you guys, casters.
Oh, talk to him, Dogman.
Let him know.
Let him know. Let's have a look at our standings now as we head very close in, and there is 1 spot remaining. And it does rest on the result of this upcoming match. The Uprising could be safe, but if the Charge have an incredibly dominant performance, then, well.
And the Atlanta Rain send home both Texas teams, right? Now the Fuel eliminated, the Outlaws eliminated as well. And now it looks like we got that final spot come down to 2 teams with the Charge looking to play Vancouver next, man, needing to win.
I mean, you can see the field here, though, as well. A lot of teams 4-3, 3-4. So, everyone's talked about how much parity we've had across this stage. Most teams, at least, have existed within that sphere. And, we didn't know who was going to come out on top of this match. I know Atlanta fans. I know who you thought would win. But the Outlaws made it competitive. Just a Horizon Lunar Colony. They really lost their series there. Yeah. They didn't bring much to the table. They tried to go for a sort of a wrecking ball approach. And, it's fine because I got to see Erster play Widowmaker, but they just seemed like
the Bastion defense of Atlanta, so winning a Horizon quick, right into Atlanta's really fast attack on Rialto, I think kind of broke the back of the Outlaws.
What do you reckon? Dogman says the Atlanta Rain can make the Stage 1 finals. Do you agree with that assessment?
I think it'd be tough. I mean, I think anything's possible. Would you have expected Philly to make the finals of last year's overall playoffs? Probably not.
Yeah, ask the Philly homer that question.
But I think if you're Atlanta, you win 1 game, then you're in like a semifinal scenario, and let's say you can kind of come out with some crazy stuff like we've seen like things, really affect the Vancouver Titans when we saw, they'd go against the Chengdu Hunters. Can you come up with some weird strategies to throw some teams off? I mean, they got the Bastion pick, they got the Tor pick. It's not like out of the realm of possibility. Do I think it's likely? No. But would I be shocked if they came in with some interesting strategies and upset somebody? Probably not.
Well, let's now head over and see who our player of the match, brought to you by Omen by HP, is. We discussed this one. You think back to the first map. This guy, Masa, huge impact from the very start of the series all the way through until the end. Environmental kill specialist.
Oh, I mean, if you're a Lucio player at home, like, you got to throw on that all access and watch his POV. Like, his movement is tremendous on the hero, always putting himself, all the times, like, they would have that EMP, he would always get in a good position not to really get hit by any of those, land the sound barriers right after. I thought he had himself a very strong series.
No doubt about it. I mean, environmental kills being just a small part of what Lucio brings to the table. I have to say, though, playing Lucio up against a Sombra, when you know that if you sound barrier first, you're going to lose that ultimate completely, adds another layer of complexity to the game.
Yeah, and I mean, to still connect with, 5 players per sound barrier is pretty impressive, especially what you're going up against. So I think Masa definitely earned this one today.
And the Atlanta Reign should be entirely pleased with the performance of everyone on that particular roster. They will now get to watch a little bit this next game and start to think about
big one.
What next week is going to hold for them, because that's when things start to get pretty spicy. But before we get there, we've still got more games to have a look at today. What are your thoughts on our upcoming match? Guangzhou getting back on that stage, going up against the Vancouver Titans.
It's a win to get in here for the Charge. I mean, you're going to have to upset the Titans in some way. They played them tough earlier in the season. Really tough drop for the Charge to actually play them twice throughout the stage. I think it's going to be a pretty close game.
Well, that's all from me and Matt this weekend. But after we come back from the break, one more game in our regular stage to decide exactly who's going to make it to playoffs. Don't miss it. This is where we find out what our next week looks like. See you in just a moment.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered.